Hello everyone! Today we are tackling a topic that could generate some debate. Living on the ski slopes, I see some main types of skiing. Some carve at high speed, however, what I see is that they travel only on their skis. They don't manage the radius, they don't force the ski onto a shorter radius arc, they only stand on it and rush. The other type of skier twists to the left, skids, then goes a bit across, then twists to the right, and slides again. If they are insecure, they try to brake. Sometimes they take me over because they skid down the hill faster than I carve. The faster they go, the harder it is for them to turn, so they accelerate even more. They lose control. Honestly, I'm afraid of both types, regardless of whether they carve or try to skid. None of them has real control. Only a small part of skiers can steer effectively and actively using the edges on an arched run line. They are the skiers we feel safe among. Therefore, one of my main goals is to teach as many people as possible how to steer the skis properly. Many people say it is easy to recognize skiers who learn to ski from me because of their special control skiing and run-turn shape. For many people, the relationship between steering and skidding isn't clear. Some believe skidding is needed for steering. Others think it ruins steering. There is no dispute that uncontrolled skiers are in the majority on the ski slopes. Everyone wants to see more controlled skiers. If you understand how control works in skiing, it's easier to filter out the ineffective methods. Control in skiing is doing what we want. Everyone can ski down the fall line. If someone loses control, they will move downhill. Simply put, control in skiing is being able to turn in the direction we want to go. If we want to ski to the left, we can turn to the left. Turning less to the left, that is, moving more downhill, means less control. Turning more to the left requires greater skill and more control. First, let's nail down: the skier can't turn. Only the ski can turn, and it makes the skier turn. The ski turns due to this edge and shape. A flat standing ski will slide in the direction where the momentum of the skier moves. If you have lateral momentum across the slope from the deflection, you skid sideways. If you deflect less while skiing a narrow corridor, you can skid more downhill, less across. The edges of the skis prevent the skier moving perpendicular to the length of the skis. So the primary requirement for a directional change is edging. Skidding is when a vehicle slides sideways or obliquely along the surface, away from the center of the curvature. Skidding is skiing less to the left if we want to move to the left. Many think that there are only two main options to ski. In the case of clean carving on the edges, you are at the mercy of the radius of the ski. This is also thought to be uncontrolled. If you don't want to rush through a given arc, you must decrease your edge angle to let the ski move on a different radius and reduce your speed through sliding and skidding. So in this sense, the only alternative to clean carving is skidding. However, what if there is another third option? What if you can force the ski turn for a shorter radius than the clean carved arc without sacrificing the edge angle, without skidding, that is moving away from the center of the turn, on the contrary, moving toward the center. If the ski's front is bent a bit across in front of you, it will bend more, force you to take a shorter radius and reduce your speed due to an increased resistance or snow drag. This is something that we can call steering. Steering is perhaps the most important skill in skiing. Steering is the process of guiding or controlling a vehicle in a specific direction. But a ski can bend only if it's standing on the edges. A smaller edge angle prevents the bend. A larger edge angle allows for a bigger bend. Steering requires the ski to be bent, so edging is the prerequisite. More edging is even better for steering. Less edging makes steering worse. So, we have not only two, but three options to modify the radius of the turn. Clean carving and steering have in common that both require a definite edge angle and a solid edge grip. They are built from the same movement elements, only the mix ratio is different. Sometimes it's not easy to distinguish between carving and steering, as a visibly clean carving can contain 1% steering component. Skidding requires weakening the edge grip by reducing the edge angle. The fundamentals of skidding are very different from carving and steering. Looking at the track, both carving and steering leave rounded shaped tracks. Clean carving leaves thin groove lines. Steering or steered carving leaves slightly wider tracks, but they are still round. However, skidding as a sliding movement away from the center of the turn distorts the turn shape, so parts of the track are wider and washed away. So in conclusion, carving is skiing on the edges near the ski's native radius. Steering is a modification for a shorter radius, also on the edges, but a slower speed and with a shorter radius. These two methods are closely related. Actually, you don't have to choose between carving and steering because they are not two different kinds of skiing. You can modify your turn on the fly by changing the ratio of the steering component in carving. Skidding is completely different, as it moves away from the center of the turn, requires a decrease in the edge angle and edge grip, and distorts the turn shape. Many times come with the pressure at the tail of the ski. Please don't take me wrong. I don't want to say that skidding is necessarily a mistake. Skidding or slide siding are important skills. Every advanced skier needs to practice it as edge refinement drills. However, skidding is not an element of steering. Moreover, skidding spoils the steering. So learn it for precise edging, but not recommended for controlling a turn at a shorter radius. Thank you for watching until the end. If you enjoyed this content, please show your support by giving a thumbs up or a super thanks. To ensure you don't miss any future videos, please subscribe and turn on the notifications. If you have any questions or disagree with any part of the content, feel free to leave a comment to start a conversation. See you soon.